The time is 6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here's the news edited by Dilbin Samarasinghe and read by Rumesh Piris. First, the headlines. 3 sluice gates of Polgola Reservoir opened. Nilbala River reaches the spill level. Japan reiterates support to stabilize the economy of Sri Lanka. Bangladesh offers more help to Sri Lanka in future. A new Chief of Defence Staff and an Army Commander appointed. The Supreme Court issues an interim order suspending the special presidential pardon granted to former MP Duminda Silva. The power cut duration has been reduced to a maximum of 2 hours. In news overseas, Russia suspends gas supplies to Netherlands. In sports, Champions League final, UEFA commissions independent report into scenes outside stadium. Now the local news in detail. 3 sluice gates of Polgola Reservoir have been opened. Engineer in charge of the reservoir, Atula Pushpakumara, said that the sluice gates were opened to control floods near Akurana and Ambatana areas. Meanwhile, Deputy Director of the Disaster Management Centre, Pradeep Kodipilli, said there are flood risks at Gaul, Nelua and Kalutara areas. He said that the armed forces and officials of disaster management centres are on standby in the event of any disaster. Meanwhile, our reporter said that the Yatiyantuwa Vioya has overflowed. As a result, Parusala Bridge on Yatiyantuwa Bulat-Kohopitia main road has been damaged. Our Mathura reporter said that a minor flood situation has occurred due to the water level of Nilbala River reaching spill level. Accordingly, the road near Makandura Bridge and several other roads in the area have been obstructed. The High Commissioner of Bangladesh, Tariq Ariful Islam, handed over a donation of essential medicines worth $2.2 million to the Health Minister, Kehelia Rambukpella, today. The donation consists of 79 essential medications. The High Commissioner stated that Bangladesh is happy to assist Sri Lanka during this difficult time. He also said they stand to assist Sri Lanka in any way possible in the future. The High Commissioner and Minister discussed how the two countries can collaborate in the pharmaceutical industry and exchange human resources in the medical industry. Major General Vikum Liyanage has been appointed as the new commander of the Army, Sri Lanka Army, by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Major General Liyanage is the 24th commander of the Sri Lanka Army and he has received the letter of appointment from the President. He succeeds General Shavendra Silva, who served as the commander of the Army for nearly 3 years. Meanwhile, General Silva also received the letter of appointment as the new Chief of Defence Staff from the President. Both appointments will be effective from tomorrow. The Supreme Court has issued an interim order suspending the special presidential pardon granted to former MP Duminda Silva. The Criminal Investigation Department has been directed to enforce these orders. The Supreme Court also issued a foreign travel ban on the former parliamentarian. 3 fundamental rights petitions were filed by several individuals challenging the special presidential pardon granted to Duminda Silva. Allowing the hearing of the petitions, the Supreme Court moved to suspending the presidential pardon. The petitions will be taken up for hearing on the 1st of September. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. We continue with more local news. The Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka has approved the Ceylon Electricity Board's request for power interruptions from the 2nd to the 4th of June. The power cut duration has been reduced to a maximum of 2 hours due to low demand and hydropower generation. A power cut of 2 hours will be imposed on the 2nd and 3rd of June between 3 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. A 1-hour power cut will be imposed on June 4th between 6:30 p.m. and 10 p.m. The Education Ministry is conducting a formal investigation into abusing of an O-level ordinary level female candidate by an examination invigilator on May 25th. Issuing a media release, they said Minister Susil Premchand drew the attention of the Examination Commissioner General to conduct an immediate investigation into the incident and to submit a comprehensive report. Chairman of the Ports Authority, Dr. Prasanta Jayamana, has rejected false information published over foreign media in connection with the Colombo Harbour. He pointed out that the Colombo Harbour is one of the 25 best ports in the world. He said that the Colombo Harbour is also one of the most developed harbours in South Asia. And that concludes local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
On to the main news story. Japan's Deputy Head of Mission, Katsuki Kotaro, met with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Professor G.L. Pires, on Friday to discuss matters pertaining to bilateral engagements, domestic developments and assistance from the international community in overcoming the current economic challenges encountered by Sri Lanka. Whilst appreciating the generous assistance and support extended by the government of Japan, Minister Pires said Sri Lanka will seek assistance from Paris Club lenders, G7 countries and other creditors following its decision to work out a debt restructuring plan with the International Monetary Fund. The Japanese envoy reiterated the support of the Japanese government in finding sustainable solutions to stabilize the economy of Sri Lanka. And that came to you in the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
This is Watchlight.
In Watchlight this evening, Sri Lanka's mission in Japan launched a new specified skilled worker program to its existing website to assist Sri Lankans who wish to come to Japan. The program can be accessed through website slembassyjapan.com. The purpose of this new module is to provide a one-stop solution with comprehensive information for Sri Lankans, including job opportunities. And that came to you in Watchlight. A bulletin of world news is next.
Coming up, world news.
First, the headlines of the world news. Russia suspends gas supplies to Netherlands. Officials recover black box from Nepal plane crash wreckage. A US study says best exercise time differs for men and women. Now the world news in detail. Russian energy giant Gazprom says it has stopped gas supplies to Dutch gas firm Gaztera after the company refused to pay in rubles. Gaztera said it had anticipated the move by purchasing 2 billion cubic meters of gas elsewhere. Moscow has already halted natural gas supplies to Bulgaria, Poland and Finland, citing their refusal to pay in Russian rubles. The black box of the Tara airplane that crashed in Nepal on Sunday has been recovered. Search teams first located the crash site yesterday. The remains of all 22 people on board have been found since. The plane was on a 20-minute flight when it lost contact with air traffic control 5 minutes before it was due to land. 4 Indians, 2 Germans and 16 Nepali passengers were on board the plane. According to a US study, exercise is good for you whenever you do it, but the time of day to achieve the best result may differ for women and men. It found women burned more body fat during morning exercise, whereas evening counted more for men. The researchers say much of what is known on this topic is based on studies on men. Differences in hormones, in biological clocks and sleep-wake cycles between the sexes could all play a role. Back to the headlines of the world news. Russia suspends gas supplies to Netherlands. Officials recover black box from Nepal plane crash wreckage. And as US study says, best exercise time differs for men and women. And that concludes world news. Moving on to development news. A UN Food and Agriculture Organization with financial assistance from the Norwegian Agency for Development Cooperation is providing technical support to develop the fisheries and aquaculture sector in Sri Lanka. This FAO NORAD Global collaboration will work with the Ministry of Fisheries to develop capacities to implement robust port state measures to combat illegal fishing, increase resilience of the fisheries and aquaculture sector to climate change, and reduce food loss and waste along the fisheries value chain in Sri Lanka. And that was Development News.
Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank. We present your future.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSP U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Moving on to sports, it's football. UEFA has commissioned an independent report into the scenes outside the ground that delayed Saturday's Champions League final between Liverpool and Real Madrid. Kick-off at the Stade de France in France was delayed by over half an hour, with Liverpool ticket holders seen waiting in huge queues and French police later using tear gas on crowds. On Monday, French authorities complained of what they called industrial-scale ticket fraud amid a row over the game policing. And that was sports news.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSP U Trust.
Economic News, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
In business news, Resus Energy, a forerunner in renewable energy, recently connected a 6-megawatt ground-mounted solar photovoltaic station to the national grid. Located in Ridhimaliyadde and connected to the Mahayangana grid substation, the development rights of the projects were secured from the government's Surya Balasangramya tender. And that came to you in business news.
LOLC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LOLC Finance claims the overall gold award, whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking. LOLC Finance will continue to innovate with the next generation digitalization of financial services, delivering a superior customer experience.
In economic news, the Colombo Stock Exchange recorded exceptional highs in both indices and market performance in 2021. Chairman of the CSE, Viraj Ratna, said despite several challenges, the securities market continued to demonstrate strong growth momentum, with the all-share price index gaining 80.5%, which is the highest return recorded since 2010, and the S&P Sri Lanka 20 index improving by 60.5%, which is the highest ever recorded. And that was economic news. The weather report is next.
The weather report.
And finally, moving on to the weather report. The Met Department says showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the western, Sabaragamuwa and northwestern provinces and in the Kandy, Nuwara Eliya, Galle and Matara districts. Heavy showers above 100 millimeters may occur at some places in these areas. Several spells of showers may occur in the Anuradhapura district. Strong winds, about 50 kilometers per hour, can be expected at times in the western slope of the Central Hills, northern, north central and northwestern provinces, and in Trincomalee and Hambantota districts. And that concludes the weather report and a recap of the main news headlines. 3 sluice gates of Polgola Reservoir opened. Nilvala River reaches the spill level. Japan reiterates support to stabilize the economy of Sri Lanka. Bangladesh offers more help to Sri Lanka in future. A new Chief of Defence Staff and an Army Commander appointed. The Supreme Court issues an interim order suspending the special presidential pardon granted to former MP Tuminda Silva. The power cut duration has been reduced to a maximum of 2 hours. In news overseas, Russia suspends gas supplies to Netherlands. In sports, Champions League final, UEFA commissions independent report into scenes outside stadium. And with that, we conclude this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.